I think that we get caught up in thinking that those things are for other people and not for us. And so we have to just be like, hey, I matter. My opinion matters. Our opinions matter. And so that's the biggest thing, man, is just knowing that you matter enough. And we have to just take ourselves seriously. And if we take ourselves seriously, the world will take us seriously, and especially in numbers. You know what I mean? Like, you see what numbers can do every day.
If you've tuned into the Black Robe Podcast, then you know we have a lively intergenerational dialogue that highlights the opinions, perspectives, and stories of the Black African descent community. The purpose of the Institute of Black Justice is to relentlessly pursue equity and justice for all. Our mission, the IBJ's mission, is threefold: to be an advocate for fairness and equity, to be an accelerator for justice system transformation, and to be an accomplice to credible social justice influencers and communities they serve. And today we get the great opportunity to interview Darryl Crews. How you doing today, Darryl?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. I appreciate you for giving us the time of day, man.
Of
We really
course.
do.
Always.
Yeah, man. How's your day been today?
It's been really good. Yours?
Man, it's been good. It's been good. I can't complain. You know, Lord gave us another day to conquer, and that's
Let's
what it's
go.
about.
That's all it's about.
This is dope because I know you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
know
in
you
real life.
in real life. So this is a great opportunity, you know,
Yes.
especially because I know the Darryl, you know, that is in his lane. You know, I know the producer.
Yeah.
I know the person who's a go-getter, and man, you wear so many hats.
Yeah.
Let's start with you though. Can you tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and how all that world comes together?
Yeah. So I'm Darryl Crews. I'm from the great city of Tacoma, Washington. Most people know me for working in entertainment. So I have been in entertainment for 20 years. I've worked with Amazon, MGM Studios, Apple Music, Universal, a bunch of different places as a musician, as a manager, as a TV producer, as a overall executive. But outside of like the entertainment stuff, I'm also, really politically involved. I've worked on campaigns for State Representative Charlotte Mena, State Senator Yasmin Trudeau, Tacoma City Council Member Kiara Daniels, former Tacoma City Council Member Keith Blocker. I've also shot footage for our current governor, Bob Ferguson. I've worked on passing Tacoma Creates when it was Proposition 1. After that, I helped rebrand it. I helped rebrand that initiative into an actual program that, now helps, give out millions of dollars to creative arts, culture, science, and heritage organizations in the city of Tacoma. I've been on the Department of Commerce's Creative Economy Task Force, so like advising our state legislature on the things that they should be doing in relationship to the creative economy. And I'm also a board member of Wheelhouse, which is the Washington State Trade Commission for the creative economy. So like all those worlds collide because above all else, my heart is with the creative economy, right? Like that's my issue. Like, I'm kind of a one issue voter. I love everybody and I love everything that everybody loves. My issue and the thing that like wakes me up every day is the creative economy. And so that's how it all comes together. Like that's my nexus. It's like, how do I help people create things, bring them to the marketplace, and how do we set up the environment for people to succeed? When I think about the creative economy, it's one of the most open, equitable, and powerful engines for economic empowerment for people from Washington and just people in general. And you look at me, man, I'm living proof that it works. I don't come from a super silver spoon background. And I'm involved in politics to help, keep that moving for people like myself and unlike myself.
Hear that, man. Did you hear the list is crazy big. Like the list just, I think that was like 2 or 3 pages. I feel like it was writing on the back. I'm like, oh man. And
I
we
forgot some
appreciate
stuff.
that. Yeah. You're over there like blah blah blah. I was like, he's saying stuff in the future. He's not
Yeah, man.
he's manifesting things right now. I
Yeah.
hear that. I hear that. You've really been involved in the voter registration. Can you take us back to how that path started for you though?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up in a house where we watched the news all day. Like we watched CNN, 60 Minutes, Meet the Press, any
Mm,
news show that was on TV, whether it was at my mom's house or my grandma's house, it was always on the news. So like obviously you watch the news, there's a lot of political content on those shows, and it was fascinating to me to see how the campaign worked or what happened or how the law was made or how people put forth messages. And, I never really saw my own way into politics until a mentor of mine, a gentleman, the late great Dennis Flanagan. He gave me, he saw me and knew me through kind of my entertainment work, and he gave me a contract to do a political commercial for someone who was running for judge, named Dwayne Christopher, and the game opened up for me from there. After that, I kind of was able to meet a lot of people, and I ended up co-founding a voter registration initiative with Representative Charlotte Mena, called voter turnout. And so like that's really the nexus of it. And Charlotte wasn't even elected when we started that. We were just two concerned citizens that wanted to help people of color learn how to vote. And we had a big voter celebration at Wapato Park. We got a lot of folks registered. This was during COVID time, so we got people vaccinated. The mayor spoke, and we just wanted to rethink. We just wanted people to rethink how they could like actually vote. Like voting doesn't have to be this serious thing. You can register to vote at a celebration. We could direct you to where um, the um, the polls are in your area, and just make it simple. Washington State's one of the best places to vote, so I just wanted to make it known that people could get involved in the process and do what they needed to do.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know how vote easy voting was up until last year. Okay, my best friend's mom, right? She's big on us voting. So she would always have us meet at her house, and she would just go down the list of this is who you need to vote for, this is what it is. Da, da, da. But last year was the first time, or this past year was the first time I voted on my own. I never really understood the how easy it was to just go, put your information down, check boxes, do your research, of course,
Hmm.
and you literally just walk out of there with a pen that says I voted. And a lot of people don't realize they get into the technical side of it. And I
Yeah,
feel like that's the disconnect. They feel like they
yeah.
gotta go donate blood, give their you know like they're applying to be Captain America or something when it's not even it's so easy.
It's so easy, and it makes such a big difference. I think that we get caught up in I think that we get caught up in thinking that those things are for other people and not for us. And so we have to just be like, hey, I matter, my opinion matters, and people like me, our opinions matter. And so that's the biggest thing, man, is just knowing that you matter enough, and we have to just take ourselves seriously. And and if we take ourselves seriously, the world will take us seriously, and especially in numbers. You know what I mean? Like you see what numbers can do every day.
Hmm. That's very true. And then there are people who come into it with the conspiracy mindset as well.
True.
So they feel like even if they do vote, it's not gonna matter.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's the gap that needs to be broken is regardless if that's how you feel, you need to understand that your vote does matter. Your vote
it
is
does
an
matter.
impact. Your vote is make or break.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I appreciate everything that you just said. It's very true. It's very factual, and I like that. I like that. Right now,
absolutely.
right now, being in the middle of the primary voting
Yeah,
period, there's a lot happening around voting rights. So, could you
yeah,
speak and break down on the Supreme Court and the attempts
yeah.
to roll back the protection?
Yeah, man, it's a wild time. So just on Wednesday, it was the 60th anniversary of the Voters' Rights Act being signed into law. This was in 1965, right? Like you think about 1965, the president was Lyndon Johnson. He was in the Oval Office, and Martin Luther King stood behind him while he signed this act into law, right? This is like it changed a lot of our lives. So many things that happened in our lives would not have been possible without the Voting Rights Act, without the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Fair Housing Act of 1968, right? Like these are very instrumental things that happened for us, right? But you look at this, right? there was in 2023 there was a case. I was like, I can believe it came out of Alabama that the Supreme Court looked at, and it upheld a key part of that legislation, right? But you look, the Supreme Court in its upcoming turn is going to hear a case that could do a similar thing to what that case in 2023 was trying to do, right? So they're saying that they indicated that the Supreme Court indicated in its upcoming term that they're going to hear a case that could potentially roll back that decision and could effectively neuter the Voters' Rights Act, right? So you think about what that can mean, man, and how many people could just be disenfranchised, um, and how many voices could be, could be silenced. It's a really terrible time. They're redrawing lines in different states. Within in a process called gerrymandering. They're redistricting, gerrymandering, going about, really trying to silence a lot of our votes, right? And people talk about voting doesn't matter, but if you think about it, why are people so actively trying to neuter your voting rights, right? Like, if the rights didn't matter, people would just leave them alone. Like, people wouldn't touch them. So that's what's happening on the Supreme Court. Like, it's going to be a very interesting time looking at the next term of the Supreme Court, like what will take place. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it really is, especially if they pay close attention to what's going on.
Yeah, man.
Like, there are some people in local politics, they don't feel that local voting matters as much as federal.
Hmm.
So, how do you explain the power of local government to folks who maybe think their city council or school board doesn't really affect them?
Right. So, I mean, every election matters, right? Like, I think any election matters. If there is a position, there is power, and power produces outcomes, right? So
Ooh,
wherever there is an election, there is something that matters, right? And to me, honestly, local elections matter the most, right? You think about your school board, your city council, your state legislature, those things like impact you greatly. And also they work in parallel with the federal government, right? So like, the people in local politics are also people you have greater access to. They live in your communities. They have to answer to you as a constituent, and it's easier to touch with them. And also, the people that you see in the federal government came from local government somewhere. So if you want to see, change on the federal level generationally, building up that local talent is very important. It's a political ecosystem from every rung of the ladder, right? So, you think on the state level, you think about how they oversee public health, education, transportation, and economic development. On the city level, you see a lot of like police, infrastructure, libraries, roads, public works. All of these things matter, and they met and all the matters and issues manifest across levels of government, right? But having a grasp of the idea that each rung of the ladder matters, and your life is in the crosshairs each time that a change is made. Like, it's not just it's not we're not exempt from these changes. No one is exempt from these changes. It affects all of us. And so the local stuff matters, the federal stuff matters, every election matters. It affects all of us. There's nothing in this country that is apolitical, right? There's no benefit to being a political agnostic. The only thing that it does for you is serve your ego. There's a football game being played for your life, right? You think about this thing as a football game is being played for your life. Do you want to be on the stands, or do you want to try to get in the field and score a touchdown? You tackle somebody, but like, you better do something, because there's a game being played that involves your life. And like, do you want to at least have some insight or some kind of connection to the people making the decisions, at least like when you can? And so like, your school board, where your kids go to school, like, talk to the school board guy. The city council, the place where you live, they have meetings that you can go to. There's actual city council meetings that you can attend, county council meetings that you can attend. You know, you get involved. It's not and you don't have to be a Harvard educated person to do that. You don't have to be anything other than you are to do that. It's just sometimes these things it can seem intimidating, but these people are no better than anybody else. It's all people at the end of the day, and we're all people, and all of our voices matter. So every election matters.
I hear that, man. I like that football analogy. Like, are you gonna be on the sideline? Are you gonna be in the field doing what I like that. That was nice. That was nice. But don't you feel there's a lot of distrust in the system, especially for black voters?
Yeah. I mean, and like, as a black voter, right? Like, I get it. Like, man, the it's fair for black voters to distrust the system. I mean, I don't think that you can find a system in this country that is without instances of racism, right? You don't find it, and it is disheartening to be disenfranchised, right? But like, not participating is not the answer, right? The black vote effectively revolutionized this country. Think about our cultural impact on electoral outcomes since we've been able to participate. We actually were able to build a coalition to have a black president. We're able to build, as African Americans, we were able to build a coalition that blocked the 2020 term of Trump. I don't know what happened in 2024, but like, you know, we um we as a people, our impact is monumental. And you think about all the people that have been elected by our presence at the polls, right? Like, we matter and our votes matter. And sometimes that apathy, I don't ever want to discount the pain that people feel, but we can't be apathetic. We have to continue to be present at the polls. And the thing is, I think that we may, and this is a broader conversation, right? That maybe is we have to think about how we can maybe leverage our vote better and get the outcomes that we want based upon our vote, right? Like, we have to figure out how to get our outcomes. But that's a bigger, broader conversation for sure.
Okay. But some people feel like voting doesn't lead to real change, at least not right away. Do you
Right.
think there's a different way we should be thinking about what it means to vote?
Yes, I think that people should think about voting like they think about investing, right? Like, the day that you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit, right? Like, you
Ooh.
have to literally plant the seed and let the seed grow, and then you'll eat the fruit of it. I mean, the thing I remember talking to former city council member, Tacoma City Council member Keith Blocker, and he was like, he spent 8 years on the council, and he was like, I overestimated what I could do in a year and underestimated what I can do in 8 years. And I think that's the approach we have to have. It's really about, real change takes time. It's not instant. It's what I call incremental, step by step, and each moment is built upon like all the conditions that like precede it, right? So like, it takes a lot for change to happen. And so I think we have to just be mindful of like, hey, are things going in a better direction? So it may be a thing of assessing direction versus instant outcome, right? Are things going in a better direction? And how do we keep them going in a better direction? So it's like each step, one step, two step. So I think incrementalism and thinking about voting as an investment, right?
Yeah, that you got to be intentful.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
You have to be, yeah, yeah, yeah. Your intent has to be there. You have to be really intentional and really, I,
intentional. That's what I meant.
yeah.
Intentional.
And like,
Yeah,
I think, I think we have to rethink that strategy, rethink the strategy and really think as an investor. That's the big thing. You're investing in people, you're like, wow, this person is a very strong advocate for these issues. Like, I want to invest in this person because I know they're a very strong advocate for this issues, or they just seem to be able to have a strong coalition that they have around them. There's a movement around them, and I want to invest in that movement. Like, just look at it as an investment.
a lot of people I know, they get stuck in that feeling like no candidate fully represents them.
Yeah.
So how do you in that moment, how do you personally decide who to support when it feels like no one checks every box?
It's like, it's like love and relationships. I think that's kind of funny, right? Like, nobody checks every box. It's really like, I think it's a kind of funny thing. It's like, who checks the most boxes and who is aligned with your goals for your community, right? Like, who is the most aligned with your goals, right? Like, what who has the best situation, right? And yeah, I think it's just that's the biggest thing. It's really like, no one is going to check all the boxes. It's just who checks the most boxes and who represents the vision the most clearly, even if it's not 100% clear. Like, is it 80%? Like,
I hear that. Even though it doesn't sound clear and hit
Isn't
every box that you needed to line up which boxes it does hit.
yes,
That's what matters. I hear that.
yes.
I think a lot of people they vote and then the campaign ends, life gets busy, and then they're left unsure how to actually stay informed afterwards. For someone who's just starting to pay attention, whether they're a new voter or they've been getting involved, what's a good place for them to start?
Okay. So one thing is this, like, so okay, the campaign is ended, right? Every person that you voted for, you should try to sign up for a newsletter if they have one. That's one thing I say, like, because they, they send out, especially on the state level, they'll send out, um, email newsletter about the things they're accomplishing in Olympia, for example. So that's one way to just get in touch and hear about the bills and hear about what this person is proposing, what they're championing, what they've been accomplishing, what they tried to do but couldn't achieve. That's one really effective way, just the newsletters of it all. Um, One thing I like to do is I like to watch TVW. TVW is is a public access channel. They show um the proceedings in the legislature as it's happening, right? So that's it's a super important resource. Um Attending city council meetings. Just going to one, seeing what people are talking about in your city. Elected officials often will hold town halls, so going to the town halls. If you're a student, there's a lot of campus groups. Like, for example, like, there's when I went to POU, there was a campus Democrats, there's campus Republicans. Like, those things help you stay involved. Also, like your neighborhood council, and then also just different interest groups that you're like involved in. If you like the environment, there are many groups that are involved in that and will educate you. So I think those things, just staying in touch with those candidates is going to help you stay in touch. Staying on that TVW, um, that's really helpful.
We appreciate you, Daryl. That's literally it. That's all the
Indeed.
questions that I have. And
Amazing.
if there's anything else that you would like to add, again, not only are you a black voter, but you're a black man that is
Yeah.
in our community, that is making waves, that is focused on bringing us together, focus
Yeah.
on the empowerment we have as the black community. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you could tell for someone again who just now opened the book and said, "Hey, I want to be involved as much as Derek."
I would really tell folks to look at, the Black Collective. I tell folks to look at our local NAACP. I tell folks to look at our the Urban League. I would tell folks to what else would I tell folks to do? And also just the stuff that I was telling them about, the city council stuff, the TVW stuff, town halls, just living. You're gonna experience things and learn things and involved. I think it's just you just got to kind of move around a little bit and just see what makes sense to you.
I appreciate that because I know there's somebody who's going to be listening to this who's going to want to be involved, and that those key points of where to get started on how to get started, or at least how to initiate the start, is great to have.
Indeed, indeed,
Appreciate you, Daryl. We appreciate you
indeed.
here at the Black Robe
Thank you, sir.
Podcast about Black community. We're all about empowerment and bringing one another together. So again, we want to say thank you to Darryl Crews. Thank you for giving us some time of day, man. And again, thank you for lighting up the podcast with your presence.
Indeed. Thank you for having me, man. This has been wonderful, and make sure that you vote in the primary election and in November. The primary. I think the primary will be done by the time this airs, but in November, make sure you vote in November.
Definitely, definitely will. Thank you again, Daryl. You have a blessed day.